welcome to the very first episode of our new project, the Young Professionals podcast. My name is Luke Marriott and I'm a junior lawyer working at a law firm called Norton Rose Fulbright in Melbourne.
And my name is Nicholas Sargeant, better known as Sarge, working as an accountant and lawyer at PwC in Melbourne.
And we're going to be your co-hosts for this project moving forward and speaking to some really interesting people in conversations that we're super excited to bring you. But first and foremost, today we're really excited to be speaking with the person that is making this whole thing possible, who is also the founder of a career counselling service called Adapt Careers in Melbourne. Annie, how are you going?
Good. It's good to be here, Luke and Sarge, and I'm very excited about the Young Professionals podcast.
Awesome to hear. And we can get into our motivations as to why we're starting it from Sarge and I's perspective in a little bit. But why don't you tell us a little bit about Adapt Careers and your philosophy around careers advice?
Yeah, sure. So I founded Adapt Careers in 2018 and I work specifically with young adults, so 15 through to kind of mid to late 20s. And my purpose is to help young adults effectively transition from education into the world of work. And from the hundreds of conversations I've had, I've recognised a common theme that there is a misconception about the world of work, or in some situations a bit of fear around young people figuring out where they might fit into the world of work. And I thought there was an opportunity to bring young professional stories, who've recently navigated this space and highlight the different ways that you can navigate that transition.
And what types of things are you hoping that students listening to the podcast will be able to get out of the show?
One of the things is that I think there's a lot of assumed knowledge around careers. I certainly know that, I obviously have a real interest in people's careers and how they spend their working life. So I'm asking people sometimes really naive questions, but so often people say, thank you for asking that, because I often feel that people don't understand exactly what an engineer does or exactly what management consultant is or whatever title is associated with their role is. I think it can be interpreted in very different ways. So my hope is to unpack some of those very basic themes and help a young person understand exactly what it is. And it might open some people's minds to think, hey, I will consider this option because what I thought it was, it actually isn't anymore. I think one of the other things that is definitely happening from education to the world of work is that line between what you study and where you actually end up working or spending your working life is getting more and more blurred. So, I think it's really interesting to see, okay, if someone's done an arts degree, but then they end up working in a completely different field, or if someone's done an engineering degree and they end up working in, something else completely unrelated. I just think it's really interesting to see how people have transitioned and created opportunities for themselves that have meant they can change direction along the way.
And on the topic of different opportunities, Annie, you obviously speak to a lot of people from, say, year 10 all the way through to mid-university or other tertiary education points as well. We're really keen to talk to people that are doing, a tertiary education at university, but also going through apprenticeship programs or cadetship programs into different areas. What would you say to students not quite sure about what they want to do, but really keen to explore the different opportunities available to them?
Yeah, look, predominantly the young adults I'm meeting with are considering higher education, and I think that is a little bit the norm at the moment. And certainly one of my professional goals for the next 12 months is to understand the vet sector and apprenticeship sector and cadetship programs, all of these things a little bit more. But for the students who are really, and at this time of year, there's a lot of year 12s who are saying, I really have no idea what I want to do next. My advice to them is to keep it flexible. So don't go into something so narrow that their options at the end of that line of study would be limited, and don't go into something so broad that they might get lost along the way. So go into some type of qualification where they will be developing skills that are transferable across industries.
What types of things are you suggesting to your clients that they do to make sure that they can achieve those goals that you just set out?
Look, I think one of the key things that young people can do today is develop transferable skills. So taking those opportunities that are in their secondary education years, so whether it be the debating team or the rowing club or all of those wonderful opportunities that schooling life can provide you, as well as part-time work, but that's quite challenging for some young people now with how busy they are with those secondary years of school. Any exposure to the world of work, so work experience, internships as they're coming through university, but any practical application they can get of what they're studying will effectively help with their transition.
I think that's fantastic advice from my experience. Luke, over to you, mate. Very interested to understand why you were so keen to get involved with the Young Professionals podcast.
Well, thanks for asking, Sarge. Mate, as you'll know, and we'll talk about this in a bit more detail as the episodes progress, I imagine, but we met Annie earlier in the year just out of circumstance, and we got along so well, I think, because we are really passionate about students having access to these kinds of conversations, and it's certainly something that I wish I had access to when I was coming through high school and even university, because it is quite intimidating to go up to random people, be it through LinkedIn or even in person, in different industries that you're interested in getting into or getting some experience in. So if we can provide something like that has a quite low threshold of access to, and all you have to do is press play on a podcast app, and you can have a conversation basically with anyone in any different industry. I think that's a great thing to be working towards. So really trying to fill that gap in terms of something that I wish we had, and I think a lot of people that we've spoken to so far have come out with the similar sentiment to that. So hopefully we can provide that.
Yep, 100% agree. I hope that we can inspire people to hopefully have a little bit of information or enough information to be able to actually reach out to someone in an industry that they're interested in, so they can have that conversation, like you say, Luke.
I think, can I just chime in there for a little bit? I think one of the good things to come out of this as well is helping young people develop the right language around the area that they're considering going into. So, I'm always saying to them, lean into your career curiosity, stalk people on LinkedIn. Yes, they might say that you've had a look at their profile, but it doesn't matter. It shows that you're interested and that you're motivated to go into that direction. But also it's helping them start to, articulate what specific areas of that industry might be relevant. And, if you do that enough, it's a bit of a snowball effect that you'll start to build up vocabulary around the finance world or around artificial intelligence or whatever it is. And you'll find that when you do create those opportunities and you are going for your first full-time work and you're in the interview, that language will be there because you've used that transition time to really develop that.
I totally agree, Annie. And that's certainly something that has come up in the interviews that we've had, or the conversations that we've had so far. And we're really excited to bring all of those to people. And on that point, guys, if you are listening to these episodes as they do come out, if you've got any questions or suggestions for other industries for us to explore, please get in touch with us. We're getting all of the socials up and running and hopefully have a website up soon, but you can reach us either through LinkedIn, our own personal profiles, or Annie's website at adaptcareers.com.au, I believe it is, Annie.
Yep,
and we'll put all of this in the show notes and all the descriptions as well. But we're really keen to engage with everyone that's listening and hopefully provide something that is super useful for everyone moving forward.
And I think it might be worthwhile just adding there that I, from time to time, will be talking to heads of industry or industry bodies who feel that they need to get some information across to young adults considering that pathway. So if you are a parent or an industry influencer or someone who feels that you have an input to another story, please also connect, because the whole purpose is connecting education to the world of work. So happy to hear from you.
Very excited to hear your insights, Annie.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, and we look forward to bringing as much insight into as many different industries as we can.
All right. I look forward to listening.